Hey, how you doing tonight? My name is Michael, and this is Something for the Normies. And tonight I'm going to be going over the Matrix Resurrection trailer. And I know this is a little bit late. This trailer came out on the 9th, and it's now the 27th. So obviously I'm a few weeks behind, but I really wanted to go back and talk about this trailer because I'm a big fan of the original movie, the first movie. And it was such a great, profound experience for me when I first saw that movie in the theaters way back in the day. And now that I see this trailer coming out, it has me. It's piqued my interest, but I do have some concerns, and I just wanted to talk about it. And again, if you're watching my channel, I just uploaded a video. It just came out tonight, and it's the Venom 2 trailer, the second one. And I said that then, I'll say it again. I'm still figuring this out. I haven't figured out how to screen share yet, but I will get to it. It's on my agenda for sure, because I want to be able to go through these trailers or games or whatever it is that I'm reviewing. I want to be able to show some footage and let you see what I'm seeing. I always think that's a little more. It's easier for people to digest when they can see what it is I'm talking about. But if you could just bear with me, I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and get right into this. And let's see here. And I'm just going to kind of walk through what I'm seeing. So first off, before we even get going, I guess we should probably touch base with where I'm at with this movie. I think this movie's really late. I think it's coming out like really, really late. And I talked about this a little bit in my last video, and I'm going to repeat it again. I feel like there's a drought of creativity going on in Hollywood right now, and I feel like a lot of the movies and the TV shows that we're seeing, it's a lot of like reworks, rehashes. They're just sort of digging up movies that really hit big back in the day, and they're bringing them back out, and they're just sort of slapping on a coat of paint. And the stories have been really weak, and I just haven't been feeling a lot of what Hollywood's doing right now. So when I first saw this trailer, when I was just flipping through YouTube and I saw it, I was immediately hyped. And I'll be honest with you, it was like hook, line, and sinker. That first like 5 seconds, I was like, I was super stoked. I was like, oh my, what's going on here? I got to see what's going on. And then when I started watching the trailer, I started to calm down, and I started to kind of see and feel the same things that have been going on with movies as of late. And I'll get into it as we walk through, but I was seeing more and more scenes in this movie that felt like, well, that they were just straight up rips from the original Matrix movie. And I'm not a big fan of that. It kind of turned me off. But again, like, I'm not here to just tell you that it's bad and, I think this movie's gonna be crap and don't go to the movies and see it. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I do have some trepidation, and I'm gonna, when we get into this, I'm gonna point out some of the things that I know for sure are just straight up rips from the original movie. I'm gonna talk about some other things too, some things that I did like. There were some things in this movie that it really got me hyped. But I'm a fan of the original movie. I thought Matrix 2 and Matrix 3 I thought they were just okay. And it was such a bummer because Matrix 1 the original Matrix was such a hit, and it hit people right between the eyes when it came out. No one saw it coming. I didn't know anything about this movie when it first came out. And then when I went and saw it in the theater, it just blew me away. And it was like the talk of the town. Everyone who was watching it was like, have you seen The Matrix? And, oh, I'm going to see it. And I saw it 3 times in the theater. And this was back then. I mean, I know it's common nowadays. People go to the movies. Well, I know it's not as common, I guess, right today in 2021 because of what happened in 2020. But back then, going to the movies once, you really didn't see movies multiple times in the theater, back in like the 90s. If you did, it was a movie that you just really loved, and I think people they're cool to go see a movie twice just to sort of pass the time. It's like, oh, you know what, I went and saw it with so-and-so, and then, now my friend wants to go see it, so I'm gonna go see it again. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a movie that you just have to see again, but this was a movie that when I saw it the first time, I knew I had to see it again. And I went and saw it a third time, and every single time it was just better. You know, it just got better every single time I watched it. But then when the sequels came out, there was so much hype around them, and I understand that when something really good comes along, and then whoever is on the creative side, or basically who's on the business side, who wants to drive the sequels and kind of cash in on it, it's always a gamble, and a lot of times it just doesn't work. And I think that Matrix 2 and 3 didn't work. There were things I liked about those movies, but the Matrix, the original movie, it could have come out and just been that movie and nothing else. And I think it would have gone down as like one of the greatest movies of all time. And I still think it's one of my personal favorite movies of all time, but I think it would have landed and stuck harder if there wasn't that 2 and 3, because there really was just, there was so many issues with them. And in the first movie, the story was tight. The idea was fresh. It was something that, you know, no one was doing at that time. The special effects, they were really, I don't think it was the first Bullet Time. I thought there was another movie that had done it before, but don't quote me on that. But this was the movie that brought it to the forefront. So they were doing new things like the bullet time, the slow motion, and watching the camera rotate around, you know, someone in slow motion. So again, they were doing some things that really weren't going on at this time in movie making, and I really appreciated it. And then the story was great, the characters were great. So, but when I saw this, I was immediately hyped, and then I got grounded pretty quick once I started watching the trailer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into this, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm seeing, and I'll do my best to not just let it run, because maybe I might just get caught up in something. But we'll just go through this and check it out. So the scene opens up, and okay, and right now I just press play, and we're only like a second in, and it goes right into a scene right from the first movie, the black cat, the deja vu that Neo has in the first movie, and it signals to the rest of his group that deja vu means something went wrong. There's a glitch in the Matrix, and now they're in trouble. And it was the first thing. Now, it didn't turn me off, because it was the first thing I saw. So I thought, okay, cool, the black cat, I remember that. And then we go forward a little bit, and we see Neo, and he's sitting down, and he's talking to a therapist, and it's Neil Patrick Harris, which I'm a fan of his. I've been a fan of his. I think he's an underrated. I don't know. I don't even know if I don't know if he's ever done stand-up comedy, but I think he's an underrated comedian, like a film comedian, like an actor comedian. I think he's really good, and I was happy to see him. But we see him, and he's talking to Neo, and then we just do they do this smash cut of just like scene, you know, just one frame of all these different scenes. And I'm not going to go through each one of those scenes, but I saw a few things in there from the original movies, obviously. But you know, they were showing like him waking up out of the Matrix, things like that. And he says, "Am I crazy?" And I thought it was. I really liked Neil Patrick Harris's response. "We don't use that word in here," and I thought it was cool. It was so it started off strong, and I was happy. But then we're going to start getting into some other things here. And then the music. So I've said this before. Music is a big deal to me. When movie scores, I think when they are done right, man, they can really elevate the movie. They can take a movie and really elevate it to that A game, you know, because you may have a decent movie or a good movie, a really good movie, but then that music hit, that score hits, that score that sticks in your brain, like you're humming it later on, like, you know, you're humming like the theme of, like, you know, the Avengers or something, you know, Star Wars, you know, like the original, like when it's good, when the score is really good, and it elevates the movie to that next level. And so I appreciated this song. It's called White Rabbit, which, you know, anybody who's seen the original, you know where that's coming from, and why they chose that song. And I thought it was a good choice. But then we see Neo, you know, he's hanging out in his bathtub with a rubber duck on his head. I thought it was kind of funny. And then we cut right to, so he runs into, and I'm going to be looking up a couple of names in here because I'm really bad with these, with actors' names. Everyone knows Keanu Reeves, and I'm a huge fan of his. But he runs right into Trinity, who is played by Carrie Ann Moss. And I really liked her. I really liked Trinity's character in the first movie. And again, I'm going to be referencing the first movie a lot because I'm not one of those people that says two and three didn't exist. Act like they never existed. They're there. They exist. You can acknowledge them, or you can choose not to acknowledge them, or whatever. But I mean, to me though, when I say the Matrix, I'm just talking about the first one. So he runs into Trinity, and he shakes her hand, and again, it's cool to see Trinity back on the scene. Like that again, it got me pumped, it got me hyped. And then they have a little exchange where they shake their hands, and they're in a coffee shop. So obviously there's no context here, but she says, "Have we met before?" And he says, "No." But I was happy to see her. It was good vibes. As soon as I saw her, I see Keanu, and I see Neo, and then I see Trinity. And again, starting off pretty strong. And then it sort of, it starts to get into, he's more references, and we see him taking, he's taking the blue pills, and from the first movie, you take the red pill, and you go down the rabbit hole, take the blue pill, and you wake up tomorrow, and it's like nothing ever happened. That's what basically Morpheus told Neo in the first movie, and that was like the beginning of the movie just kicking in. Like, it just went crazy after that. The movie was really good and tied up to that point, and there was a lot of questions of like, what's going on, but then that was such a key moment. And now it's like that scene has been used for like references and memes galore. So, but again, now we're starting to get into like references. So we see the blue pills, and I'm okay with this reference because it's not the exact same. It's something different. But I like that, he's sitting there taking medication, and he's looking at himself in the mirror like he's obviously struggling with something. Like he's having some mental issues. He's talking to a therapist. He's taking medication, getting all close to the mirror, like he's, making sure he's real, basically, is what it looks like to me. And then it cuts to another scene. And again, this is a scene that I really enjoyed because he's standing outside and he's looking up, and he's shielding his eyes from the sun. And he's looking at this flock of birds, and the birds are flying around, and like how birds do, they fly in these really cool formations. And they almost look like they're underwater, like fish, the way they move. And I really enjoyed that scene because it referenced when he's in the real world of the Matrix with the machines and how they flew around in synchronicity, and the way they moved and they flowed. It was really cool. And I thought that was a really cool scene. It stuck out to me. And then we see him in an elevator, and I don't know. I kind of thought it was funny because he's standing in an elevator looking around, and everybody in the elevator just like, there's like 6, 7 people in there with him, and they're all looking at their screens. We've all seen that. We all do that. I'm guilty. We get into public spaces, we're on our screens. So I thought that was kind of interesting because it's almost, and I like the reference. It's like he's awake and everyone else is asleep. I thought that was cool. So then we move on, and we see him, and now it really starts to kick in where we see him throwing away his blue pills. He's done taking them. And the next scene is he's meeting a woman, and she's reading Alice in Wonderland. It looks like he's in like a bookstore. Again, cool. Everything's looking good. And then the next scene is Neo standing in front of a mirror, and we see like an image. And the first time I saw this, I thought it was Agent Smith. That's why, because it happens really fast. But now that I paused it right on the screen, Neo's looking into the mirror, and his reflection, I can't tell if it's like an older him or who it is. But I'm telling you right now, I thought the CGI was really bad in this particular shot. Really poor CGI. Because you couldn't, to me at least, I couldn't tell who it was. And then I'm pausing it right now and I'm looking at it. It does not look good. I think the CGI in this particular scene, it was like, whoa. It looks like a video, it looks like a video game. Like his reflection looks fake as hell. But again, we're kind of back to, so now the next scene is he's talking to, and I looked up the credits. This is Morpheus. This is, and I'm going to butcher this guy's name, so I apologize in advance. He has a pretty cool name, but it's hard to say. It's Yahya Abdul Mateen. I think that's how you say it. And it says here in the credits that that's Morpheus. So I don't know if they couldn't get Lawrence Fishburne back, or if it was a situation where maybe he didn't want to come back, or who knows. But this is obviously a much younger version than what Morpheus was even a long time ago in the first movie. So he's a young man again, and he's presenting the red pill. And now we're going to start getting into the parts of the trailer that really kind of got me, kind of bogged me down. I was like, come on, just show me something new. Don't show me the same stuff over and over. Like, don't show me the things that I've already seen, because it's kind of lame. I know what you're doing, movie. I know what you're doing, trailer. You're trying to tug on my nostalgia heartstrings, and that's what you're going to sell me on. Like, sell me on a new idea. I don't care about if it's cool, if it's in the same world and the same characters, but just don't do that same. I just see it so much, and it just gets old. So anyways, now we're moving on. He's taking the red pill. And again, the next scene, it's a white rabbit tattoo. Or I'm sorry, it's a tattoo of a rabbit on a woman. Now in the original movie, it was Follow the White Rabbit. And then a woman with her boyfriend shows up at the door of his apartment in the original movie, and she has a tattoo of a white rabbit on her arm. So now we start getting into more of just the same old stuff. We see the white rabbit, or I keep saying white rabbit because it's the reference. It's like the song. It's in the original movie, but I actually don't think it's a white rabbit. The tattoo itself isn't white, but it's on a woman's shoulder, just like in the original. And then he steps through a door, and of course he's going through a mirror. The mirror looks exactly like the original. When Neo first takes the pill, the red pill with Morpheus, he sees a mirror that's broken, and the mirror sort of forms back into a solid single piece of mirror of glass. And then we know what happens. He touches it, and he starts to freak out, and that's when he comes out of the Matrix for the first time. And so again, another kind of callback, if you will. And then we see him and Trinity, and I thought that was that scene. So the next scene is him and Trinity. And he's taking her by the hand, and he's getting close to her, like like intimately, like maybe they're going to kiss, but you can see the matrix, the code is on her face, and it's like it's moving up and down. So where are we in this movie at that point of the movie? I wonder what's going on. It has it's piqued my interest. But that was a cool little scene. And then the next scene, Neo is in a dojo, just like in the first movie, fighting Morpheus, just like in the first movie. The difference being here, it looks like Neo is, at least in the trailer, he's already holding his own. And in the first movie, Neo was just getting his ass whooped by Morpheus, and then until he realizes that he's in the Matrix and he has more powers than he knows. But in this scene, the difference, I guess you could say, is he immediately just starts blocking his punches, and he uses some sort of new power that he has and knocks him back. It actually blows the whole building up, which pretty cool. But again, same thing. It's the same. Like I've heard this term before, like the member berries. Where it's like, oh, remember when we saw that? Remember when we did this? Remember when you told that joke? And it's just like a berry off a tree, just constant, just feeding you those member berries. So again, but the other thing too that surprised me, because when this trailer came out, I didn't know it was coming. I had no idea. And this movie's coming out in this Christmas. That's a couple of months away. So, I mean, they kind of kept it. I personally, I don't have my head like knee deep in what's going on in Hollywood. Like I know every little thing that's going on. I don't have any like insiders or anything. I mean, I know what you know. I'm a normie just like you, but I had no idea this movie was coming. And then when I saw this Christmas, I was like, whoa, I guess we're gonna be seeing this really quick. And then the next scene is a couple of shots of what I know as the future, which is this bleak dystopian future. The machines have won. They're growing humans for power. They're trapped inside the matrix, and it's a really bleak and crazy world off into the future. I have no problem seeing that again. The issue that I have with that side, and the original movie did such a great job of showing you what the real world was like when Neo came out of the Matrix. And they did a great job of showing you how the world looked. They showed you they built the rules of the world, of the real world that Neo wakes up in. And but there was plenty of times where he's in the Matrix, and there's the finale, the act 3 is in the Matrix, and that's where all the cool shit happens. That's where the best fights are. That's where you see Neo's powers. He's basically becoming a superhero, and even just the regular, not, I wouldn't say regular people, but like we see Trinity. She's doing some badass shit. She's wall running and stuff, and so the Matrix inside of the movie, like the Matrix, it's where all the good shit happens. And part 2 and part 3 of the original movies, or the original trilogy, it was so much outside of the Matrix. I think that really hurt it. So again, they only show a little bit of that in this trailer, of like the dystopian future where the machines have won and everything. They didn't show a whole bunch of it, and I hope that we're going to be in the Matrix more and not in the real world too much, because I think that really hurt. I mean, it's what bothered me the most, but I think it really hurt the movies. And again, we're moving along in the trailer after we see a few clips of the robot ruling the world shots. Now we're back on a rooftop with Trinity and Neo, and once again and we'll get into it in a little bit. Hold on. So that they're on a rooftop. It comes back to that within this trailer, and then I'll talk more about it. So then the next scene, we see the new woman who has the tattoo. I believe it's the same woman. She has a tattoo on her shoulder of the rabbit. She's doing some badass shit. She's leaping off of a building, like 3 stories down, and landing on the roof of another building. Then we see, then the movie the trailer really starts to pick up. And so the scenes start coming really fast. We see an agent, which we all know the agents are the keepers of the Matrix, and they keep the humans in line, essentially. And they're extremely powerful, fast, and they can become anybody. The agents are basically, they're inside, they're a program inside of the system that can take over the bodies of anybody that they choose, which I thought was a really clever idea. I loved that in the original movie. I thought it was really cool. But we see that happen again. So, and again, that wasn't, to me, that's not a member berry. That's the lore. That is the lore of how the world was set up. So I'm totally cool with that. And then we see Neo, got a gun pointed at his head. And again, it starts to get real flashy. Rockets flying. There's a high-speed train. We're seeing Neo doing a little bit of fighting. And we see Morpheus, young Morpheus. I'm going to keep calling him that. Young Morpheus is doing some cool shit with guns. And then there was a scene here that I thought was really, it just comes on really fast. And it's of Trinity. And she is locked into the Matrix, like she's hooked into the Matrix in the real world. And her head is shaved, and she looks kind of crazy, like her face and her skin looks weird. Like it actually looks like it has like lights underneath. I don't know. It's hard to describe. But I want to come back to that too, because there are some rumors, and I'm not going to hang my hat on rumors, but I heard some stuff that I was kind of turned me off. But again, when I first saw this, I liked it. I thought it was cool, because we see Trinity, and I'm curious. We see Trinity in the trailer, but we know she died in the originals. She died in the 3rd Matrix movie. So what's going on? Is she alive? Did the machines bring her back? So it again piques my interest, but I hope they're not going where I think they're going. And so we see Trinity doing some badass shit, and then she kind of exhibits a new power. I don't know if it's a power or not, but she screams, and then there's like multiple Trinities. So I'm not sure what that is. And then, again, just more cool, flashy shit. There are a couple of cool fight scenes, some wall running agents, ducking and weaving some bullets. And then we start to see Neo and Trinity a little more together. And Neo's doing what he always does. He's stopping bullets with his hands. He's, redirecting missiles, which was really cool. Watching him be the hero that he was in the original was really exciting, and it was really like that to me. Again, he's doing some of the same stuff, and I don't like that. Stopping the bullets with his hands, that was a big part of something that he did in the original. So again, it's okay. I guess it's okay, but then they're kind of just sprinkling in a lot of these scenes with Trinity and Neo. They're on a motorcycle, and then they're on the roof of a skyscraper, and they're jumping off. And Neo, like I said, he's redirecting a missile. But I'm not sure what's going on. So I'm not gonna judge it. From what I'm seeing, I'm interested in what the plot is. And I'm interested in what the story is. But I just saw there's just so many things in this trailer. And at the very end, so I don't know who this guy is. But Neo's talking to some other guy. He's a suit. They're in a nice office. Looks like a skyscraper, window office. And the guy says, well, he's going to go back to where it all started, going back to the Matrix. Yay, that's cool. I didn't think they needed to say that, but that's fine. And then that's pretty much where the trailer ends. And so now I want to talk a little bit about I'm cool with this movie, and I'm interested in what's coming. I want to see this movie. This will probably be a for sure watching in the theater. But I want to talk a little bit about one of the things that I heard, and just kind of give my take on it, because it's kind of got me a little bit hesitant. So apparently Trinity is now going to be the one. And we know from the originals that Neo was the one, and that he was basically the savior of the human race against the machines. And the rumor is that it was never Neo, it's Trinity. And I'm tired of Hollywood rewriting canon. It's so annoying. And that, even to me, it's just another signifier. If this is true, I'm not saying it's true. It just signifies that they are out of ideas. That they're using what was successful, and what, filled the coffers full of money. And now they're just sort of bringing that back out and showing us a lot of the things that we saw again. Now, again, that's a rumor. So I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to hang my hat on that. And if I don't get a chance to see this day one, and I find out that that's what's going on, I probably will still watch it, because I want to know what's happening with this movie. But I'm just really tired of Hollywood taking movies and franchises that were really successful back in the day, and then trotting them back out, and just sort of rewriting the canon, and rewriting and just changing everything around just to sort of fit whatever story they're trying to. It's just cheap, and especially when it's a lot of what I just saw again in this trailer, where they're showing a lot of the same things that I've already seen. So that's kind of a bummer. So I'm a little concerned about that. Again, I'm a huge fan of the original movie. And I think this movie could be really good. And it got me when I first saw it, I was caught up, like immediately. My heart just like exploded. I was like, no way, it's the Matrix again. And then, when you see Neo, Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves. He's awesome. From everything that has been reported on Keanu Reeves, he is a bona fide good guy. Like, he really is. He's a multi-millionaire, 100-millionaire. But he still rides the subway. He cruises around on motorcycles. He makes time for fans when they see him. He seems like a genuine person, and I really like that. So that kind of transfers over into when I see him in film. He's going to get a little slack from me, just because, oh, he's a nice guy in real life. No, I'm not saying there's plenty of actors who have been total just jerks in real life, treating fans like crap, telling her, don't you know who I am, sort of having that entitlement attitude. But they're still great actors, So again, I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, if an actor is a jerk, then I'm not going to watch any movies. We've all watched movies that, actors have had run-ins with paparazzi or run-ins with their fans, and then but they're really great actors, so we come out and support them, and we go to their movies and stuff. So I'm not going to say that that's the reason why I like this movie, but it's a feather in the cap, for this movie. It's like, I want to see Keanu Reeves in a movie. And again, Carrie-Anne Moss, those are the only two characters that I saw on the cast list, and I'm scrolling through here. Those are the only two characters that I see from the original. Is that good or bad? I don't know. Because like I said, I don't want to be talking out of both sides of my mouth here. Yes, I want to see I would like to see this movie, and I don't want to see them using a lot of the exact same scenes from the original, but I would like to see the original characters. I would like to see Lawrence Fishburne. That would have been really cool, because he's an awesome actor too. I mean, he's proven, he's a proven actor, and he's really great in the movie. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a contract thing. Maybe they asked everyone to come back, and they all said no. Or Moss and Reeves were the only two that said they were going to come back for it. But I'm excited, and I will watch this movie most likely. And I think I'm going to call it. I know it's kind of an abrupt end, but I'm a little tired. If you can't tell, I had a long day today. It's Monday. You know how Mondays are. You're always a little bit more tired on Mondays than most days. But I also want to let everyone know that I'm going to be out of town for a week. I leave on Wednesday, so I'm going to be gone until the following Wednesday. And so I won't be cutting any videos, but I wanted to get this one up before I left. And if you haven't already, check out, I did a quick review similar to the Venom 2 trailer. Excuse me. But again, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Thank you for your support. If you like the video, please subscribe, give it a like. It helps the channel grow, and hopefully I'll be able to put some more content out for you. Other than that, y'all have a great night.